raw, unfiltered, and in a league of its own. This is a legendary Suzuki GSX-R750. G'day, I'm Kwackajack, and today we're on a bike that offers a rare balance. Lighter and more agile than a leader bike, but significantly more powerful than a 600. Suzuki's Gixxer 750 finds the middle ground and not only lives, but thrives there. It ain't for the faint-hearted though. I think it's a fascinating bike for a few reasons, and I'll explain all of that on my ride out here, along with a detailed review at the end. But first, let's take a closer look under the hood. This is a 2014 model Suzuki Gixxer 750, one of the last and best in the 750 class. It's powered by a 749cc inline-4 engine, putting out around 148 horsepower and 86 Nm of torque, screaming all the way to 14,000 RPM. It weighs just 190 kilos wet, giving it a razor-sharp power-to-weight ratio that delivers serious performance without the bulk, and can do the 0 to 100 time in only 3 seconds. Suspension is fully adjustable front and rear, with Showa big piston forks up front and a monoshock in the rear. Braking is handled by dual 310mm discs with Brembo calipers up front and a single disc in the rear. You've also got a 17-litre tank, a seat height of 810mm and 0 rider aids. That means no traction control or ABS, just raw analog performance. This one has had a few small things added onto it, like a Yoshi exhaust, so let's have a listen. I also want to say a big thank you to our friends over at Team Moto Kawasaki Bowen Hills for letting me take the bike for the day. They are my local motorcycle dealership. If you're in the market for a new or used bike or are looking to trade yours in, make sure to go and check them out and tell them that I sent you. Alrighty, we are back, baby. Today we are on a 2014 Gixxer 750. I'm stoked to be on it. I've never ridden one of these before. I actually reckon they could be one of the most interesting bikes you can buy. I'll explain why. Now, first of all, I think this bike lives in a really interesting place in the motorcycle market, right? 750cc inline-4 screamer. Back in the 80s, you know, that would have been a sort of top-of-the-line super bike, but times have changed. Bike manufacturers are pumping out bigger and bigger engines, and this sort of lives in a space of its own. There's not really anyone quite like it. Unique would be an adequate descriptor. So motorcycle manufacturers, they did move from the 750cc range up to the big leader class that we still have today, you know, the big super bikes. And while they went from 750 to 1000, they also sort of kept the 600cc, the smaller super sport class there as well, but the 750s were just kind of forgotten about. Except for this bad boy. It has been a long-running staple, and it's been a very popular one. Over 1 million bikes sold, and right now I'm starting to understand why. Wow. It's sort of a middle ground between the big leader class super bikes and the racy light 600cc ones. This thing is a featherweight. It's actually even lighter than some of the 600cc bikes out there. It's coming in at only 190 kilos wet on the road. And that is light, that is very light. I feel my inner squid tingling here. The Gixxer sort of spurs you on in moments like these, saying, come on, you can have him, you can take him. Not only is it very light, but it's also very well equipped for its main purpose, and that is to, well, go fast. The 750cc inline-4 pumps out just under 150 horsepower and around 86 Nm of torque, so immediately it's above the 600cc class in terms of power, while also maintaining that light weight. And you can tell as soon as you get on it, this thing, it feels fast, and it encourages you to be fast. Wow! That sounds fantastic. This thing has got a Yoshi pipe on it, so it's not stock. It's had a couple of little things done here and there, but whoa, it's a little bit more sort of throaty than a regular 600cc Super Sports. Now, another thing to note is that it is a bit more raw than the sort of bikes of today. You know, this thing hasn't got ABS, it hasn't got traction control. You're put on the spot, you're given a lot of power, you're given a really capable platform. You have to be able to perform on this motorcycle, but the thing is, so far, the further that I push it, the more that it seems to enjoy it and want to go more. Here we go. Oh, wow. God, that handling is so light but precise. Here we go, longer sweeper. Man, like a champ. It isn't an explosion of power when you pull the throttle. It is an inline 4 after all, so, you know, you're kind of knocking at its door until you get up to these higher RPMs. But, God, I reckon it'll open up if we do. A bit hard to do that on these sorts of roads, but even here it is really fun so far. Okay, riding through town, let's sort of talk about the ergos and the seating setup and things, because I did ride out here through Brisbane City as per normal, and while the suspension is of course very firm, it is fully adjustable so you can tune it. It's actually quite comfortable too. It's been really easy to ride and tame. This 2014 model has their power modes, which for the time was, you know, quite an advanced thing, but you've got two. You've got A and B. I'm in the top A model right now. It's just got the sharpest sort of throttle response. I had it in B around town, which we'll change it back to now and give it a go, and yeah, a bit more gentle there. You do still get the full amount of power in this mode when you open it up, but like we're riding now, it's a bit more gentle. The seating position is of course super sport-esque, so it did take me, you know, 5-10 minutes to get used to when I hopped on. You are leaned forward, of course, the pressure is on your hands. I also found the foot pegs to take a minute to get used to as well, sort of have to reach up with my foot to use them. But in saying that, you know, even though it is a sport bike and it's got those ergonomics, I'm quite comfortable on here. I think I could do a fair few Ks. We'll see by the end of the ride how I'm faring. But so far it's been quite comfortable for a bike of this caliber and easy to use. You know, it can be as tame as you want it, I suppose. The whole bike feels really good to use. I'm enjoying going up and down the gears. I find on bikes like this, sometimes they can be quite clunky, you know, gunk. But this one is short, sharp, precise. It's really been nice to use. It's got this sort of tightly wound mechanical feeling to it. I'm loving it so far. Now, I did say that this bike was interesting for a few reasons. The second one is the sort of pedigree that it holds, you know. This has been a very successful bike in terms of racing, and you really feel that pedigree come through when you're on it. When you're in a corner, you can tell that this thing's probably capable of way more than you are. But as the road opens back up, let's switch it back into mode A and explore a little more. Wow! Wow, the suspension here is something else. It's like the harder you push it, the harder it just hunkers down and says, let's go. That was Luke and the boys. I met them back down at the servo before I started. Shout out to you guys. Alright, well, just a quick pit stop. I've been on the road for probably 30 to 40 minutes now, and I still feel fine, even though I'm in that sort of forward-facing position. While we're stopped up, I do have a little confession to make. I've never actually been the hugest fan of Suzuki's, especially the Gixxers. I don't know, something about it. The front end, I always thought it looked a little bit funny. I thought it was a little bit lazy that they've never really updated the styling. But look, being here in person with it, I'm actually it's actually kind of growing on me, the sort of long profile, low down. How you doing?
Looks like it did the job all right.
Oh, it does. It's fast, that's for sure. Yeah.
What is the size?
That's a 750 Suzuki.
Yeah, nice.
Yeah.
I know you wouldn't believe it to look at me now, but I used to have a 900, Z1 900.
Oh, really? Like from the 70s and 80s, or?
Late 70s.
Yeah. They make a newer version of that now called the Z900. It's like a sort of a homage to that.
Is that right?
Yeah. They're really nice. Very popular. That was a beautiful bike.
At the time, it was probably one of the fastest on the road.
Yeah.
And I should have just left it in the garage because
they're worth a lot now.
For it now.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I know. In the traffic these days. Take care.
Thanks. Nice to meet you.
Take care.
Yeah, but as I was saying, being here in person with it, the styling is sort of growing on me. Maybe it's the sort of red and black combo, you know, it makes it look like it goes faster, but the side profile is sort of low and longer, and it's, I don't know, it's sleek, it's nice. All right, well, let's head back down because there's a few more things we need to test out. Okay, I want to talk about the third and I think biggest reason why I think this is one of the most interesting bikes on the road, and it's actually got nothing to do with the bike itself. It's about how this bike is perceived, at least by me. Honestly, I've never really been interested in Suzuki sport bikes, and I think the reason for that is because of the sort of association that I have with them. I want to make absolutely clear, this bike is fantastic. It is probably one of the best sport bikes I've ever ridden. However, when you think about a Gixxer, what comes to mind? Because for me, the first thing is squid. Seriously, this is the type of bike that you'll see someone doing mad power wheelies down the highway with. Not only that, but at least where I live here around Brisbane and the Gold Coast, whenever I seem to see one of these things, it's usually got a middle-aged dude with a gut wearing shorts and thongs on it. And I suppose for me, that association of, you know, people who ride this being either bogans or squids that caught their crotch rocket and do 1,000,000 miles down the highway sort of ruined the idea for me. But it is 100% a case of don't judge a book by its cover. The cover being the usual riders. Of course, I am generalizing here, and there are probably many sophisticated, normal people that ride Gixxers, but here at least, I only seem to see those types. And it's a shame because this thing is phenomenal. I will say, being on it myself, I kind of understand why that behavior comes out though, because it sort of encourages you, you know, a straight like this, my wrist is twitching, you know, it's going, oh, let's do it. But yeah, seriously, I don't have many bad things to say about this bike itself. It has got a fantastic engine, it handles beautifully, it's so precise and sharp, it's so light and flickable. It's quite comfy for a sport bike. Like, the price is good. This one's coming in at 10 grand. It's a 2014 model, got about 40,000 Ks on it, and runs like a dream. Owners always talk about the reliability of these Gixxers as well. So, you know, it's a real enticing package. It's kind of a shame that I myself have this sort of association with that type of rider, but, you know, after spending a day with it, I think that's sort of fading away a little bit. This bike, to me, it kind of makes me think like, you know, in a movie when the clouds part and the big God ray comes down and shines on the main character as they slowly get lifted up into the air. This is the main character. So what's the final verdict? Well, I think it's a perfect blend of power and agility, and it's great for someone that's looking to perhaps improve their skills or challenge themselves. Or perhaps people that want a track-ready machine without going to the full leader bike class. It's the kind of thing that makes you say, they don't make them like that anymore, and it's true. A motorcycle without ABS, traction control, or any other added goodies with 150 horsepower from a high-revving inline-4 is probably not something we're going to see again anytime soon. It is genuinely a fantastic machine. Engine is spot on. Handling is sharp, confident, and enthusiastic. It is very light and easy to maneuver, especially at a standstill. And even though you are put into a super sport-like position, I found it actually pretty comfortable. It has a big 17-litre tank. It's pretty affordable. It's easy to use. I'm struggling to find anything bad to say here. My only negative things are that it doesn't have a fuel gauge. The brakes, while good, seem to fade a little, and the styling doesn't really get me hot and bothered. It is better in person, and I am a fan of this color scheme, but that front end is a bit meh.
It does also produce quite a bit of heat, and you can see this at a standstill, but it's never too much to be unbearable.
Small things really. This bike isn't going to hold your hand. It's going to spur you on and encourage you to test your limits, and that's something that I appreciate. If you're in that part of your motorcycling career where you want to progress, keep challenging yourself and go a little bit further, I highly recommend a Suzuki GSX-R750. I mentioned it while I was out on my ride that usually the type of person that I see riding this is a little different. It's kind of the same feeling as seeing an older gentleman in a Mustang. It's a great car and this is a great bike, but after spending time with it in person, I gotta say, I can't blame them, and they've got good taste. Maybe that'll be me one day, with a big beer gut fanging it down the highway. Regardless, I've loved my time with the Gixxer 750, highly recommend, and thank you again to Team Moto for letting me take it. If you've enjoyed this review, please do me a favor and like the video. Make sure you subscribe for future reviews. Stay safe out there. Until next time, see ya.